Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of A Work in Progress. I am your host, Brent Pyles, and with me, I've only got one person with me for this edition. He is again the Royal Stumble at Mayor Canton. How are you doing this fine Tuesday evening?
Well, I'm doing better than yesterday. I haven't been doing any barroom brawling or disco dancing, but I have been watching wrestling. So that was a good weekend because we got to see a lot of good wrestling take place.
We did see a pretty eventful Royal Rumble, and yes, the Ballroom Brawl and Disco Dance and Dynamite Stretch and Intercontinental of the Playboy is not with us this evening. He messaged me earlier and told me he wasn't feeling all that well and that he was just going to sleep, and that is totally acceptable if he does not want to stay up till 4 a.m. I know the fuck I wouldn't, so that's totally acceptable. And so me and the mayor just thought maybe we just have a general discussion. We'll talk about the Royal Rumble and maybe a little bit of what happened last night on Monday Night Raw. So we kind of talked about this in our group chat. I think maybe I don't know if you said this or if Glenn said it, that you felt like it was the best women's rumble yet. I don't know if you said that or Glenn said that.
I think Glenn said that, but I kind of agree there. I mean, there's only been what, 4?
So 2018 was the first one. So
6,
7, I think.
7. Holy cow! I mean, you can name all the Royal Rumble winners off the top of your head, so I trust your
7 or 8. Well, it's okay. Let's go. So Charlotte won twice.
Mhm.
Asuka won the first one. Charlotte's won 2 of them. Becky won 1. Rhea won 1. Bianca Belair won 1. Bayley won 1. Am I missing? And Ronda Rousey won 1. Yes.
That's the one I was forgetting.
One I keep trying to forget, but I now remember. So yeah, there's been 8 of them, and Charlotte is the first ever 2-time winner. So
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, then that I would agree that was my favorite of the women's rumbles.
I think that's what it was. I think Glenn said that was a great women's rumble, and I think that you were like, yeah, I agree. I think it was the best one yet. Yeah, I thought it was good. I guess if you want to have a devil's advocate, with the only thing that you could complain about it is that maybe the winner was too easily predictable. But I guess they made up for that in the men's one, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I like predictability. I don't like when something doesn't make sense. So I all of us picked Charlotte to win the Rumble. And
right.
We all pretty much thought that was almost a given outside of Becky came back. And, we all kind of thought that happened. I guess there were some other people. I was excited to see Bliss come back.
I was very surprised.
I was surprised at that. Got to see a couple returns, right? We had Trish Stratus come back for. Yeah. I don't think she's going to be full time. I think she just came back for a.
Yeah, I think it's just a one-off thing. I think
a one-off, on the show.
Well, who knows? The next PLE is in Toronto, so who knows?
And she still looks great. Still moves around better than a lot of the women there. But it's good to see. I guess Lash Legend was called up, right? Rock.
Yeah, she was great out there.
Yeah. Lash Legend looked like she just fit right in, and I wasn't a huge fan of her to begin with, and she's really impressed me over time.
Yeah, I haven't watched NXT in a long time, but I thought like the progression of like where she was at to where she is now is almost light years, because I mean she's always had the charisma, but she just hasn't ever had their in-ring work, and I think really right now she's starting to put it all together. And this might just me being a massive Noam Dar mark, but I think that her being in that metaphor group with him, I think actually did help her like learn some stuff, because Noam Dar is a great worker. He's been doing it all over the world forever. And so I think he kind of rubbed up on her and kind of helped her find her way. And I mean, she didn't look like she was out of place in that Royal Rumble at all. I mean, she looked great out there. And like I said to my sister and my niece that were watching with me, I said, she's a tall drink of water. That's for sure.
Well, I think that's one of the things that she needed to work on, was working more like a giant, working like a larger wrestler, where it felt like a lot of times she was trying to do chain wrestling with girls that were much smaller than her.
Yeah.
And it just didn't seem authentic to the character. And I think she's gotten much more into what she should be doing. And it makes a lot more sense seeing her work like a larger wrestler would.
Yeah, sometimes I think that a person who's a bigger stature size of wrestler, taller, or whatever, they try to not pigeonhole themselves into being a big guy wrestler or a big whatever wrestler, female wrestler, and they try to, I can do more than that. And so then they do start doing chain wrestling, and next thing you do, they're trying to do a 450 splash, and it's just like, sure, there's going to be a time and a place for a a bigger superstar to do that, but like I don't need you to do it every week to impress me. I mean, go out there and throw somebody around. That's what you're there for. I don't need to see Braun Strowman doing a frog splash. You know what I mean? That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, we don't need to see that. And I did enjoy. I don't think you probably would have caught it, but I've been force fed watching this movie called Wicked so many times.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but
Chelsea Green and Piper Niven's ring gear were inspired by the movie Wicked. And of course, if there's one thing I'm going to notice, it's Chelsea Green, and she had some great ring gear. It was inspired by Glinda the Good Witch.
Okay, so I have not seen Wicked yet. I am not watching the Super Bowl on Sunday because fuck both teams, fuck football, and fuck playoff football because my team never fucking makes it. I'm bitter. If you can't tell, I'm a bit bitter. So instead, we're gonna watch a movie that night instead. And Rachel mentioned Wicked, and it wasn't really on our list of movies to watch, but we might have to check it out just to see what the fuss is about.
Yeah,
we'll see. But yeah. So and Jordan Grace is in the Women's Rumble again. I think she's full on signed with WWE or going to be signing with WWE. Soon, I think.
I read that she had already signed for like 4 or 5 years.
That makes sense. I know she had finished up in TNA, so that makes sense.
I just don't know which promotion they're going to be putting her in. If they're going to start her in NXT or if they're going to have her main roster right away.
I would assume that they'd put it on in NXT first, but at the same time, if they put her on the main roster, I mean, she looks great. She looks main roster ready. She's been doing it for a long time because I remember when she first came in, that was in like 2017 or 2018. So that would have been, and that's when I first heard of her. So she was probably wrestling a couple years for that. So she's got, almost a decade into this thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they put her up on the main roster. But there's been a lot of people who have come in who've had a lot of experience,
Was there anyone that actually impressed you that you didn't expect in the Rumble, other than maybe Lash Legend? But
yeah, see, I'm trying to think, but I think Lash Legend would be the one that I was most impressed with that was out there. Or Roxanne Perez. I mean, I can't obviously be overly impressed with Roxanne Perez because I already know what Roxanne Perez can do. But she is now, I think, the record holder for longest time spent in the Women's Royal Rumble. I think she went from like number 3 all the way until the end. She was the last person eliminated. So, I mean, I think I've gushed for as long as I've seen Roxanne Perez wrestle on NXT about how I think she's, the future of the business. She's one of the best women's wrestlers on the right now. So I can't really say that really shocked me or overly impressed me because I already expect that from Roxanne Perez. So I think I would have to say Lash Legend. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. I enjoyed the whole Women's Rumble. Seeing Nikki Bella return was cool. I know a lot of people aren't big fans of her, but I've always been a fan. I mean, I thought she did a great job in there. I mean, she was the last one in it, right? Was she number 30 or 29?
She was number 30. She was the last one to come out, yeah.
Okay. I think people were waiting for Becky Lynch in that spot, so maybe that kind of was why people might have been a little bit disappointed in seeing Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like the crowd was a little bit dead when number 30 came out and it wasn't Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I think everybody was waiting. Because I think people precondition themselves to expect that number 30 has to be some sort of big, whatever. And not to say that Nikki Bella isn't, because I mean a lot of people really, really like Nikki Bella. I know maybe sometimes she doesn't get the best reactions, but I do know there's a lot of fucking Bella fans out there. I mean, they weren't around for forever for no reason, you know what I mean? So
I could just say this. For non-wrestling fans, I could show my girlfriend a picture of all 30 wrestlers and she would have known one, and it would have been Nikki Bella.
Nikki Bella would have been the one. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking back at the card now, and I'm thinking it's definitely Lash Legend. I think that was.
And then they gave Nia that giant elimination where she eliminated like 8 people at once.
She eliminated 9.
Yeah. And that wasn't fun because my friend actually had Nia Jax on his dice roll, and that meant we were drinking a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of drinks. She was only out there for 8 minutes and 13 seconds, so she got more than one person a minute on average.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that's
nobody else even came close. Like the person who got second was 4. With Charlotte had 4. Whenever she was second.
Okay. Yeah, but I think that kind of covered all of the women's match. I'm trying to think if there was like any other feuds or storylines that spun out from it that would be new. Other than obviously Charlotte won, which I think it's pretty evident that she's going to challenge Tiffany. I mean, that kind of seems like the way they would go with it.
Yeah.
But Charlotte and Rhea has been magic in the past. Both their matches. I think I gave the match of the year for me.
Yeah, the one at WrestleMania. Was it WrestleMania 39? 39. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite matches that whole year. And so I mean, they've got chemistry together. And I don't know which way they're going to go. They did say actually tonight, I think Charlotte was supposed to appear on NXT.
Yeah, that's what she said last night when she talked with Rhea Ripley. She said she was going to go to NXT and talk to Julia because Julia is the NXT Women's Champion now.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. She finally took it off Roxanne Perez after she had it for I don't know a year.
I mean, it's probably time for Roxanne to move up to the main roster anyway. So I imagine after WrestleMania she'll be coming around. Maybe they'll bring her up with Cora Jade. Because they're kind of together now, aren't they?
Who?
Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So maybe. See, I thought it was going to be Tiffany Stratton too, but then with the whole thing with Charlotte and Rhea with the in-ring promo last night going with the back and forth, and like Charlotte getting heavily booed out there, like she was trying to get babyface reactions by saying that, I missed you guys, and people didn't care. So
that's Cleveland for you. I apologize for my state, Charlotte.
That's true.
We love you. We're just confused on what to do with you right now.
They're still upset about the Myles Garrett situation. So they've got a lot of feelings they're working through there in Cleveland. My buddy actually texted me today an article that he saw about Myles Garrett to the Bears. I said, why would he leave the Browns to come to the Bears? He can play for the Browns in Chicago? Yay.
Have you ever seen all the stairs at the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah.
That's basically starting on the second step and maybe moving to the third step.
Exactly.
You're still nowhere near the top where you want to be, Miles.
Exactly. You might as well just stay in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just think it would be hard to, if you want to be Tiffany as a heel, even though she already gets babyface reaction, so maybe you just go with that, and Charlotte plays the heel and Tiffany plays the babyface. I don't know. It just makes a lot of sense for it to be Rhea Ripley because they already have the 1-1 at WrestleMania. Like Charlotte won at WrestleMania 36, Rhea won at WrestleMania 39, and now it's time for the rubber match at 41. So that makes a lot of sense. But her versus Tiffany makes a lot of sense too. So I guess I'm gonna have to see like the back and forth between Tiffany and Charlotte and how it goes before I, fully decide.
Maybe WWE hasn't decided either. They might play this out and see what kind of reaction Charlotte's getting, and they're still going to make a decision on what they're going to do. Maybe the Elimination Chamber winner ends up going on to challenge Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania, and they could go a completely different direction.
Yeah, I mean, that's the exciting thing about wrestling right now, especially WWE is that you just don't know. It's not everything's not as set in stone as it used to be. Like you used to be able to, you would know what the main event of WrestleMania was going to be before the Royal Rumble even happened. So now it's nice that you're not fully convinced exactly what it's going to be.
And I think you got to give Triple H credit on that because the way that he's booking these shows, it seems like there are so many different adventures that you could go on and so many different ways he could go with storylines that it makes you want to keep watching.
Yeah, definitely keeps you more interested than if like, I mean, I watch Monday Night Raw now every show since it's been on Netflix, and I haven't done that, and I don't know how long it's been since I put that thing together. And I even surfed the high seas of the internet to find SmackDown to watch the other night. And there was a person that called you out, Mayor, because they had a sign that said Chelsea Green's #1 fan, and I said they are calling the mayor out.
No, I'll fight him. I'll fight him right now. But did you notice how whenever Chelsea got eliminations early on, because she was out there pretty early, but when she did eliminate, I think she eliminated 2 people from memory. And the crowd was going crazy for her.
Look at her.
Yeah.
She's the champion of the United States, so maybe that's why.
And she might be a U.S. citizen by now.
Probably. I don't know. She's Canadian. That's all I know. But yeah, Charlotte wins. She last eliminates Roxanne Perez. The other 2 out of 3 falls tag team match. I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't have a whole lot of recollection of that. Do you?
I remember it.
DIY
I can't break it down. You know, the first fall seemed really quick for me, and I was expecting that to be a long match. And the first fall probably came in like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, I want to say you're right.
I want to say what wasn't it? DIY got the first fall.
Yeah.
And Motor City Machine Guns got the second. Then DIY retained, right?
Yep.
Again. And
the Street Profits showed up and they attacked. First, they attacked the Motor City Machine Guns, which led to DIY winning, and then after that, they beat up DIY too. So. So the Street Profits, I'm guessing, are going to be heels now because they were giving off like a heel aura. That's really the only thing about the match I really remember was the ending.
I really like what they've been doing with the Street Profits. I've always been fans of them, and I like them even better as heels. I don't think that they've caught on yet, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just the tag team division hasn't been elevated to a level where you want to care. As like maybe that's it, because I think they both do a great job as heels, and I've been wanting for so long to have Bianca Belair also be a heel with them.
I think it would be good. Yeah,
I don't know if they're going to go around to doing that. She does so many promotional events for them and goes out and is the smiling baby face. It's all fan friendly.
That's true.
So it makes it hard to want to turn her to a bad guy.
When she was initially when she was in NXT, she was a heel, and she does play a really good heel. And it was one of those things where she was such a good heel that people started to cheer her because she was such a good heel. And I mean, those NXT crowds back in those days were fucking the smarkiest and fucking smart, so they were going to cheer the heels anyway.
Yeah.
But I do think she would be a great heel. I wouldn't be mad if the whole who attacked Jade Cargill ends up being Bianca Belair. I don't think it will. But I think that would be a great way to go. And I think that, I agree with you. Those 3 together as heels, I think would be really good. I think they kind of dropped the ball with the whole Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits thing. I think initially they wanted to be heels, but the fans just weren't having it at first. And so then they just moved them to baby faces. And I think once they were like solidified as baby faces, it killed off any momentum that they ever could have had.
Yeah. And the same thing's happening over in AEW. I know you don't watch too much AEW, but I can't. What are they called?
The Hurt Syndicate.
Hurt Syndicate. I kept thinking the Hurt Business. The Hurt Syndicate. Yeah, they I think were supposed to be started out as heels, but the crowd cheers them like they're like these guys are legitimately good wrestlers, and they're getting over there.
Yeah,
they're tag champs.
I saw they had a tag team title match with Private Party, didn't they?
Yeah, they won the belts from Private Party.
Oh, they are the tag team champions now. Okay, yeah. Okay. All right. I've been trying to watch more AEW now that I can watch it on Max. But with all the other crap I watch, it's hard.
So would have you done anything different in the Royal Rumble for the women's match, or do you think that they nailed it?
I think the match was done well. It was entertaining. And I while people can say, Charlotte seemed like the obvious pick, there's not anyone else as I look, down up and down the card of people who are on here. I just don't think there's anybody else that's ready to main event have a championship match at a WrestleMania that didn't just do it. Like Io just did it. Bailey just did it. Bianca Belair, it wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense because she's a tag team champion and they got this whole thing going with her and Naomi. And so I just don't know who else you would have picked to win it other than a returning Alexa Bliss.
No, I think they nailed it. I think they absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, and there's no other choice but Charlotte, I don't think, in my opinion.
I would have made one change to it. The only change I would have made was I would have flip-flopped where Nikki Bella and Alexa Bliss came out. I think Bliss coming out at 30 would have been a huge return.
Yeah.
Where Nikki Bella is more of like a feel-good return, and that could have gone on earlier in the card.
Yeah, and I do think that Nikki Bella I'm not going to say she's going to get a huge reaction because a lot of people have mixed feelings about her, but I do think that she gets a better reaction if she comes out at number 21 than as opposed to number 30 because, like I said, wrestling fans, we've just preconditioned ourselves to believe that number 30 is going to be somebody big, and then when it's Nikki Bella, people are like, oh, so I do agree with you there that they should have probably flip-flopped that one because Alexa got a huge reaction. If she'd have came out at 30, it would have got an even bigger reaction.
Yeah, and that people would have thought that she had a chance to win then too. I thought she would have been the only other person that in that match that I've said, maybe she can win.
Yeah, and maybe Nia Jax. But the thing about Nia Jax is she just came off a title run and she just lost the title because I really can't see them.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to lose the title and then try to regain it back at WrestleMania, that's something a babyface does. That's not something a heel does. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. So, Yeah, I think you're right. I think they hit it, right on the nose, and they got it. I don't think there's any way that could have been better. At least for my money, I know a lot of people don't like Charlotte or think she gets whatever. But for my money, she's still the best women's wrestler in the world, and I know I only watch WWE or whatever, but just how I feel.
Yeah, but the Motor City Machine Guns and DIY match, though. It was a good match, but it was a great 2 out of 3 falls match. But the thing is, it's like everyone that watches the Rumble, I feel like we're just preconditioned to really only care about the Rumble. Like, you could have stuck Harley Race and Ric Flair on there in their prime, and I still just really cared about the Rumbles. Like,
I'm sorry, but there's got to be a letdown match, and that was the letdown match. You know what I mean? Like, we watched the Royal Rumble and then we ate dinner. So
we got up to get pizza and wings at the time when that match started.
The same as me. Like, we had pulled pork, so it's like once the Royal Rumble was over, it's like, all right, everybody, let's get in there, get the pulled pork, get the baked beans, get the coleslaw, let's do it. I don't eat coleslaw, but other people do. But yeah, so I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to that. But the ladder match for the WWE Championship, now that was something, huh?
That could be a match of the year candidate.
It's very early on in the year, but you're right, yeah.
Yeah, 2025 started off hot. It's won it so far for me, but that was a hell of a match. Even though I feel like 99.9% of people outside of Kevin Owens' direct family thought Cody Rhodes was retaining.
Right.
But even with that match, it tore the house down. It was, you said it best when you said you're preconditioned for like a get-up match, and that probably could have been one too, but it was so good. It was so well done. And both those guys went out there, put their bodies literally on the line and did some amazing stuff, all while doing great professional wrestling in a hardcore match.
Yeah. I think Kevin Owens in a ladder match or a Falls Count Anywhere match or a no DQ match or any of that stuff, he's just so innovative with everything that he does with the weapons that he uses. Like, he always makes like cool little fucking, apparatuses, but then he always ends up going through them. It's the thing, like the thing at the end with him and Cody, he sets up this whole big ladder thing and then he ends up getting his head busted open from it. But yeah, that was one of the more brutal ladder matches, and probably one of the best ladder matches that I've seen in a while. And you know what one of my favorite things about it was, Mayor, is that it started out with one ladder, and then they did get a couple more ladders out further, but there wasn't 70 ladders laying around the ring. I absolutely hate that, especially in a one-on-one ladder match. Like, if it's a Money in the Bank or a multi-person ladder match, I totally get having a bunch of ladders, but if it's a one-on-one ladder match, I don't want to see 50 ladders. I hate that. The psychology of a ladder match is you want to get the person down so you can go get the ladder to bring it in the ring, and then you got to get them down again to get up and get it. So I hate when you can just roll out of the ring and grab a ladder. I hate it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like 2 maximum, maybe 3, and I'm just saying 2 in case one of the side pieces breaks off, or just as have a backup. Because if not, no one's getting back up there to get that title.
Yeah, this match is going to get real boring.
And I mean, unless you get Montez Ford out there, maybe to jump up there and get it.
Yeah, off somebody's shoulders. He's going to need to stand on Big John Studd's shoulders to get it. Yeah.
I don't think anyone has the hops to get that. So,
especially not between Owens and the mini ladder out there too, which is cool.
But I thought that was great. It's got to be in that match of the year candidate for the rest of the year. Like, you're going to have to put everything up against it.
Yeah.
Where, last year I think it was Drew and CM Punk for me.
Yeah.
For the match of the year, and this one I think might be the winner.
It could be. We still got a long ways to go, but it's number 1 right now. I mean, I usually don't give star ratings to matches, but that's a 5-star match in my book. It had everything you wanted in it: physicality and great storytelling. I certainly, and then it kind of, you had the cliffhanger there where Sami Zayn does come out at the end, and you don't know if he's going to get involved, and if he does get involved, like,
who's he helping?
What's that going to look like? And then he doesn't end up getting involved, which I thought was a nice touch. And I absolutely think that you're right, especially with, I don't think you saw the end of Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but I absolutely think you're right when you said that it's going to be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania again, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. And I hope it's a false count anywhere match or no DQ match or something like that, just because Kevin Owens is so great in them, and I'd love to see those guys do that on a WrestleMania. That'd be great. I know they wrestled at a WrestleMania before, but that was at WrestleMania 37, and there wasn't like a full capacity crowd. And for me, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, it's never going to be boring. I mean, that's always going to be something that I'll sit down and watch.
Yeah, and they're going to have great promo battles between the two of them, and everything's going to be great with that feud. And I hope that that's exactly what they're doing going into WrestleMania. Just keep giving that time. They don't need much. They'll make every minute count for you.
Yep, absolutely. So, and then we got the men's Royal Rumble. So let me ask you this: Jey Uso wins. Do you think that's a good move or a bad move?
I think it's a to be determined move, because it could go either way. This could really blow up in their face and not be good, because is he a mainstream star? I don't know. But it definitely was surprising. It definitely was different. And the crowd on Monday probably can give you an answer on what the wrestling community thinks of it. Because on Monday Night Raw, when he opened the show, Cleveland was going absolutely bananas for him.
Yeah.
And, he is making himself special. I know that they keep saying he's like one of the top couple merch sellers, which is usually a good indication whether or not people will like you. But
yeah, I think that's usually how they base who's going to be in WrestleMania, right? Who sold the most shirts, I think.
But but then I also think back to LA Knight had that same crowd swell and was so over with the crowd, and they just seemed to not do anything with him. I think he had that one title match against Roman, maybe in Saudi. I might be misremembering that.
I think you're right. He had the one title match with him, and I think it might have been Saudi Arabia, but you're right. It was just the one. And then he had like the 4-way at the Royal Rumble last year, and then that was it.
I will say the thing that threw me off for me wanting to see Jey Uso win it was having him lose cleanly to Gunther like 6 days before it.
Yeah.
Like, that just didn't make sense. Like, if you want the guy to win the Royal Rumble, don't, piss on his head while he's laying on the ground 6 days before. Not that losing to Gunther is a bad thing, but still that's one of your highest rated shows of the year, Saturday Night's Main Event that people are watching.
Right.
And a lot of people are going to see that and see him basically get dominated by Gunther.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why he wasn't a person that I thought was going to win it. had he not had that match with Gunther, I probably would have looked at it differently. Like I would have had him, as like I would have had it probably in my top 5. And the reason why I didn't is because I was like, well, he just lost that title match, so it's gonna be weird for him to win it again. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that I wasn't disappointed, because when it gets down to, okay, so there, whatever, Roman's out, Rollins is out, and then CM Punk goes out. And as soon as I see CM Punk go over the top rope and he hits the floor,
you're saying Cena's winning it.
I'm going, oh my God, this is actually going to happen. John Cena is going to win the Royal Rumble. So when he's got Jey on his back for the attitude adjustment on the apron, even when Jey falls off his back, there's no way in the fucking world that Jey's just going to push him off, right? And so when he does, you get that. And I think you even got in the arena. It definitely happened in my living room. We all just sat there for a minute like,
did we just see what we saw?
Are you fucking for real?
It almost looked like it was an accident. Like it didn't even
look like, it did.
It didn't look like that's what they planned at all, because Cena, he didn't fall down hard. He literally just took a step off like you're taking a step from the second step down to the floor. Like it didn't
look like Jey patted him on the back real hard and it knocked him off the apron.
Yeah, and then Cena just kind of looked like, Like, but it had to be, because they already had all the Jey Uso shirts printed up in the back and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if that wasn't it, I'd have been questioning, like, man, did they accidentally botch that? The finish? I mean, they started off the entire show with the men's Royal Rumble with a botch.
Did they?
Yeah, with Penta.
I must have forgot. What, did he botch something?
Yeah, Penta and Mysterio started off the match, and they both went to go over and kind of roll over the top rope at the same time. Well, Penta didn't grab the middle rope or the top rope to, skin the cat to go over like Rey Mysterio did. He grabbed the bottom rope, and the dummy didn't realize his feet can touch the floor from holding the bottom rope when he went over, and both his feet hit the floor.
Okay, I do remember that now. The thing
he didn't grab the top rope.
I'm pretty sure his feet hit the floor.
Both his feet hit the floor, and he jumped up like the floor was lava. He was playing the floor is lava game. He pulled his feet up so fast, but they both clearly hit. Everyone was like, oh, wow, he just got eliminated.
Well, let's give Penta a break. It was his first Royal Rumble, okay? He managed to stay out there for 42 more minutes. So,
yeah, I mean, they started off with a botch. Actually, I thought this was one of my favorite Royal Rumbles outside of the ending. The men's Royal Rumble was so good because they had so many main event players in there that they could have gone so many different ways. And they went the way you could have given me 8 choices, and I probably would have picked wrong on who I thought would have won that Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I wouldn't have picked it. Like I said, maybe because he just had the match with Gunther. But yeah, outside of, I would thought like Roman, Punk, Cena, possibly Drew McIntyre with a very, very outside shot of Seth Rollins. But it looks like they're going to do Seth Rollins versus Roman at WrestleMania because of the whole thing that happened with them after they both got eliminated, where he did the double curb stomp to Roman. So I think that all but tells you that I don't think The Rock's going to be participating in WrestleMania 41 unless he's going to fucking get beat up by Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, I think that they're going to go a different. I think you're right. I think it's going to be Roman and Seth. But then, do they open the show? Because if there's not a title involved, it shouldn't be closing the show unless it's Rock and Roman.
Yeah, there's no way I think that she closes the show. I don't think that closes one night or two. I was thinking maybe because like these guys have had like so much history and like such a feud for so long, like maybe Roman and Seth need like a Hell in a Cell match.
WrestleMania really doesn't have any kind of gimmick matches anymore either. Yeah,
I mean sometimes they do. I mean they had the Hell in a Cell match between who had Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania? Wasn't that long ago? Oh, Edge and Finn Balor. It was at WrestleMania 39, I think.
Oh, yeah.
The one where Finn fucking split his head wide open and had to give him like 14 staples. It looked like another head was going to pop out of his head.
Oh, and Man, the highlight of the entire night almost for me would have been when Braun Breaker hit the spear on that YouTube guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Braun Breaker just keeps impressing every single time I see him. He would have been another one I probably would have picked to win over Jey Uso.
Yeah, no, I know, getting right. Yeah. No, and then that fucking YouTuber gets in there and he does the fucking Cristiano Ronaldo fucking goal celebration. I'm like, fucking get rid of this guy.
Well, Braun Breaker did.
Yeah, he did.
And Otis, I mean, man, yeah, they could have gone so many different ways. Like, I'm still shocked by it. Like, I'm still in shock that that's what they did. But it seems like it's working. The crowd's really into Jey Uso.
Yeah, I did see something like the WWE's YouTube channel, the video of Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble got like 24,000 thumbs down or something like that. And I kind of thought to myself that's just wrestling fans, because wrestling fans only love you to a point. You know what I mean? Like, they loved Becky Lynch up until a point. Remember, everybody loved Becky Lynch, but then everybody hated Becky Lynch. Everybody loved Seth Rollins, and they hated Seth Rollins. We only love you to a point. We want you to get far, but we don't want you to get too far. And sometimes I feel like,
I think it's also we've been conditioned to see Jey Uso as a tag team wrestler for 15 years. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty were tag team wrestlers in the WWF for what, maybe 2 years?
in the WWF, probably, yeah.
I mean, if you go back to other promotions, AWA and other things, you'll see WWF, whatever it was, you'll see them as tag teams. But 15 years, I mean, they've been together a long time as a tag team, and they look so similar.
Right.
Being twins, they look similar. So it's almost hard to separate the two and see one as a star and the other one is, just for all intents and purposes, a job guy as a singles wrestler, when they're literally twins. So, I mean, that makes it difficult, but the way that I'm seeing Jey Uso right now, I know you probably won't like this comparison because you don't like him, is when Chris Jericho.
Oh, okay.
When Chris Jericho beat The Rock in Austin in the same night for the unanimous title, everyone saw Rock. They saw Austin. They saw main event players. And then here's this intercontinental mid-card guy, Jericho, being thrown in with him. And then he gets over, and then he becomes a made man. Can they rebuild that chemistry? I mean, having Jey Uso go over all of the main event guys? I mean, his name literally is main event Jey Uso.
And it's going to be in a different sort of way, because Jericho did that as a heel, and he did it almost with like people helping him. I think he had like a Team Canada with him helping him win matches or something like that. And so like Jay's going to have to do it as a babyface. And I was watching Raw last night with my wife Rachel, and she mentioned like Kofi Mania, you know what I mean? And that's kind of like, it's kind of that vibe, you know what I mean? It's like the tag team wrestler that you didn't think was ever going to get the chance to main event WrestleMania or wrestle for a championship at a WrestleMania, and now he's going to get that chance. And like when Jay first won it, I'm not gonna lie, I sulked for a while. Not a while. I sulked for like 3 or 4 minutes, and then I watched Jay celebrate with his son in the ring. And you know what? Why not? Why can't it be Jey Uso? And good for fucking Jay. Just because I wanted Cena to win, the person I wanted to win didn't win, doesn't mean that it's bad or that I think it's a horrible idea. And people always want something different, and guess what? That's what you got.
Something different. So don't complain about something different.
Exactly.
Just go along for the ride, enjoy it. It's gonna all be fine. They'll figure this all out. Everything will be good. And after he wins the belt at WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar will come take it from him too.
I don't think we'll see Brock Lesnar again.
Oh man, that would be full circle bloodline stuff.
Yeah, wouldn't it though? Yeah. So we got Elimination Chamber coming up. They had Monday Night Raw last night. CM Punk beat Sami Zayn to become the first entrant into the Elimination Chamber. After the match, the mayor didn't see this. I hope you don't mind me spoiling it for you. But after the match, Kevin Owens attacked Sami Zayn from behind and hit him with a package pile driver. He had one hell of a shiner, Kevin Owens did. So I think that absolutely solidifies that it's definitely going to be Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. So John Cena is in the Elimination Chamber. He just announced that he was in it. He said after being with the company for 25 years, I think he earned it. I think that's fair. I wouldn't argue with that. And now CM Punk's in it. We're in the whole nother scenario in the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to relive it all over again, Mayor, where it's either going to be Cena or CM Punk. And I really want it to be John Cena, but I really think it's going to be CM Punk. So we're here in the situation all over again.
Yeah, I don't know. See, the only thing that I still think there's going to be a way out is Cena wins Elimination Chamber, and CM Punk finds his way into one of the main event matches because he pulls the favor with Paul Heyman to be able to get his way into one of the main event matches. And is that where with, say, a triple threat with Jey and Gunther? Although I think you're still going to see Cena. What makes sense to me, this is just me playing off my head, you're going to get Cena and Gunther. Or no, god dang, no. Yeah, Cena and Gunther, and then Jey and Cody, and then your CM Punk is going to pull a favor to get into a triple threat in that match.
And see, they gave themselves the out of putting CM Punk on the War Games team and saying to Paul Heyman, you owe me a favor, that CM Punk doesn't have to win Elimination Chamber and he doesn't have to win the Royal Rumble. But people will still have it in their mind that he's going to, but then we could shock them by having it be something else, but then CM Punk can still get into his main event because he's going to cash in the favor with Paul Heyman. That's good. I like that. That works, because I don't know what else he could be cashing in with Paul Heyman. What other favor it could be?
Because that's what I'm seeing. You've got Jey and Cody, two baby faces loved by the crowd facing each other, and then CM Punk coming in, another baby face, and it's like, and that after Cody loses the belt is when Cody ends up going full blown heel. Because the crowd wasn't supportive. Heyman did this, Heyman did that after because the way Cody ended the bloodline, when you think about it, the OG bloodline.
Yeah.
So he's going to pull the favor with CM Punk to help end Cody's reign. Yeah,
it writes itself. And I think you're already kind of seeing Cody go toward that heel way anyway, just because he's starting to get like more of an edge to his character. And like the whole thing last week or a couple of weeks ago when CM Punk was like, are you doing okay? And he just looked like he was, he was just fed up with everything that was going on. And it just feels like eventually he's just going to get completely fed up with it. And you're going to get that shocking moment where Cody finally snaps and turns heel, which it may happen in the lead up to WrestleMania. Who knows?
It could.
It would be hard for it to be three baby faces in a three-way. You know what I mean? I guess they didn't do it.
That makes more sense to me than having two heels and a baby face, because then the two heels are just getting up on the baby face the whole time.
Right, and you're already magically thinking of the baby.
Now, if you got three baby faces, they're all having respect for each other. They don't want to. I want to cut the corner. Like, we're going to do this fair, and then a heel can emerge from it. It's like Darth Vader rising from the ashes after, I don't know too much, like, you know what I mean? Like
after they tried to bring the Emperor back after he died in the very last, the rise of Skywalker. And it's like, you guys didn't even fucking think about this, did you? You just went, oh, we'll bring the Emperor back. Get out of here.
And you can only be a white meat babyface for so long before the crowd eventually turns on you. And that's exactly what I see happening with Cody. The more I think of it, I think this is what's going to happen.
Pro wrestling fans are a fickle bunch, pal. We are a fickle bunch. We only love you for so long. or we go from hating you to like everybody doesn't like you, to where they used to hold up signs that said if Cena wins we riot, but I saw a sign that said if Cena doesn't win we riot. So it's all come full circle now, pal.
Yeah, it's going to happen that way.
I like that idea. So, yes, but there's not really a whole lot more. We kind of talked about what happened on Raw through the Royal Rumble matches. There wasn't a whole lot more from. Is there anything on Raw that you wanted to talk about that we didn't already talk about?
I think we covered Jey Uso. It was a good match between
Oh, that was another funny thing that my wife said when we were watching that Jey Uso Gunther back and forth thing, and Gunther was talking about how Jey will never beat me and this and that. My wife said, "I don't know. I don't think I want to fight a mad Samoan." I said, "You know what, honey? You're right."
Yeah, I mean it's going to be fun. I mean, we just saw Gunther and Jey, which makes me think, why would they go that route again? I mean, I think he's beaten Jey twice already.
But all that could also be like the whole like, oh, he beat me twice, but now I got to, see if he can beat me a third time. I don't know. That might be a whole scenario that they want to do too. I think like Cena versus Cody doesn't make sense to me, but Cena versus Gunther makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that's why I think that's the route it's going to go.
I was talking to two guys who want John Cena to fucking win his 17th championship at WrestleMania. That's all we want.
Yeah, I will see it. I mean, Charlotte might break the record before he does at this rate.
She'll do it in a couple of years. How many does she have now?
15?
She's got to be close. I'll look it up real quick. I know she came out 27 because I won my family's Royal Rumble game with her because I got number 27.
I mean, she's had 2 Royal Rumble victories and I think 15 championships. 14 maybe?
She is a 6-time Raw and a 7-time SmackDown. So she's 13 times.
Do we count the NXT championship?
Oh, and she's a 1-time Divas champion. So I guess that makes her 14 times. 2-time NXT champion. So that would make her 16. But I don't know if that's counted as a world championship. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think there was anything else on Raw that we talked about. We talked about the main event. We talked about Penta versus I always want to call him Marcel Martel, but that's not his name anymore. Ludwig Kaiser, which I think he's you always talk about it whenever he has a match, but he's really an underrated guy. Because he had a really good match with Penta too, and you can put him in there with anybody, and he has a good match. I think he's just a really underrated guy. A lot of people don't talk about him, besides you, honestly, but he's really an underrated wrestler, really good in the ring. Ludwig Kaiser.
Get any disagreement from me. He's one of my favorite guys on the Raw brand. So,
yeah, really good stuff there. So yeah, be interesting to see everything going forward. We got more elimination chamber qualifying matches coming up next week. And I think Lara Valkyrie is defending the Intercontinental Championship against Bayley next week on Raw. So that'd be a good. No, wait, it's not for the Intercontinental Championship. That's also a elimination chamber qualifying match. So that'd be fun to watch. Watch those two in the ring together. Yeah, I don't think I got anything else. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we pretty much covered all the Rumble, talked about everything that we saw and how we see things going. Oh, one last thing. Has nothing to do with the Rumble or Raw, but there was a firing in NXT in January that has been kind of secret and hasn't been talked about. And you're going to be brokenhearted about this.
Oh, no.
Brendan Vink is no longer employed by WWE.
They let him go, huh?
Yeah, no more Duke.
No more fucking Duke ugly face Hudson. Well, that's too bad. Look, while I'd never liked his face, he was very entertaining with Chase U.
Yeah.
So I'm never happy to hear someone's lost their job unless that person's a complete fucking asshole. And for everything I've heard, he seems like a nice person. So
Boris Zukov can lose his job.
That's Buck Zumhoff, and he's in
Buck
jail.
Zumhoff.
He probably cleans the latrines in jail, so we don't have to be. I hope that Buck Zumhoff is somebody's bitch in jail. That's what I hope is happening to him.
Did you see the rundown of the next season of Dark Side of the Ring?
No.
We just were talking about this guy. Ludwig Borga is going to be covered by Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, wow. It's timely. Nazis are in the news right now, so.
Yeah, JR said that they had to make him wear long boots because originally when he first started wrestling at WWE, he was wearing the shorter boots and his leg had SS. He had a giant SS tattoo on like his calf. And no one picked up on it because they weren't paying attention. They're like, oh, man, we're going to have to cover that up.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be interesting. I'll be be interested to see about what that lunatic has to say. Glenn's not here, so I'm going to try to do Glenn's plugs for him. Make sure you check out the Unbooking the Territory podcast with our buddies Rob and Dan, covering the first and last of wrestling. You can also check out their Gator Golf specials. I'm not sure what goes on there. Something with Being the Elite. Check that out. There's also Unbooking the Tankatory, The Life and Times of Tank Abbott, which we stole and made the Life and Times of Soka Sit out of. And then, of course, they've got their Road to Wembley. It's Big Daddy versus Giant Haystacks, the most watched wrestling event of all time with over 18 million viewers. Is there another one besides? There's DDT Wrestling with DC and Doc. Don't forget about that. Make sure you check out DDT Wrestling with DC and Doc. It's the Doctor Who podcast with Dan Inside. That's the one on SJP World Media. And I have been invited to be a guest on the next season. That will not be out for a couple of months, but be on the lookout. I've never watched Doctor Who, but I am interested to see what it's all about. So check out all those fine people. And Mayor, who do you have to plug?
Who? Doctor Who. I am going to say to always check out our good friend Thomas Bryce. You catch him at Thomas Bryce 2020 or Thomas Bryce 2017, depending on whichever app you're using. Put them both in. If you find the wrong guy, just follow that person too.
Fuck it. Follow all Thomas Bryce that you see. Just give him a follow. It doesn't matter.
Just follow anyone named Thomas Bryce. If the guy has some badass chops on the side of his face, you found the right one.
Yep, that's the guy.
You can, and you can catch him also on SportsWire Radio, which is sportzwireradio.org. And that's pretty much it. Give Thomas Bryce a follow.
Yeah, there you go. Give Thomas Bryce a follow. Check out the website and all that good stuff. Check out we don't have a website, but you can check out our YouTube page. It's got everything you need on there. Coming up here soon, we're going to start the road to Laugh-A-Mania 2, where we watch some 1986 WWE as we lead our way toward WrestleMania 2 and one of the mayor's all-time favorite matches, which is Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy in the Steel Cage from WrestleMania 2. So we'll be watching that as we lead into WrestleMania. Me and Glenn will have a new Good, Bad, and Ugly Nitro edition where we review Nitro from June the 2nd, 1996. And there was a lot of ugly on there, let me tell you. A whole lot of ugly. Let's just say WCW didn't get really good when the NWO first showed up. It took a little while. It took a little while for them to find their stride. So listen to that. Subscribe to us on YouTube. You can follow us on Blue Sky. It's at AWI Pod. And that's it. I got nothing else to say. The only thing left to say is for the mayor to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
There you go.